Hello, everybody. It's Leland Oakland. I know it's kind of late in the day for a video, but honestly, I've just been so busy today. I'm here back at the office. About a week ago, I made a video on the importance of saying please and thank you. It was actually the first chapter of my novel, The Golden Rule. And so in today's video, we're going to be going through the second chapter, in which I finished today, which is knowing when to apologize. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys like this, please leave a like and drop a comment below on what your thoughts on it, whether you agree with me or disagree. And if you want to contact me directly, if you're seeing this just on YouTube, you can email me at Mr. Leland Oakland. I need to make a new paper. Mr. Leland Oakland at gmail.com. Or if you're seeing this, if you found the link through my Facebook page, go ahead and shoot me a message. I try to respond to everybody as much as I can. Sometimes I can't exactly message right away, but at the end of the day, I always try to conversate and get other perspectives in order to continue keeping an open mind. So let's go ahead and jump into the book. Chapter 2, Knowing When to Apologize. In the society we live in, it's been brought to full circle that using the term "I'm sorry" or "I apologize" is usually the appropriate response to performing a negative action towards another individual. Even if in the event the action displayed was an accident, by apologizing for your error, oftentimes altercations are less likely to occur. Unfortunately, there are many individuals who do not believe in apologizing for whatever it is that they have done. Does this make them a bad person because they don't apologize? No, I don't believe a person who lacks the use of a word is defined by what they don't do. An example of this would be if a person is having a conversation with another individual who declares an opinion about how the other person's actions have made them feel. I wouldn't jump to the idea that the person speaking out how they feel should apologize if in the event it had upset the person they were talking to. In many cases, adults who generally omit the term "I'm sorry" out of their vocabulary usually were never influenced by the importance of apologizing when you have done wrong. For a deeper understanding, we'll use the example of a child who is roughly 5 or 6 years old with a parent who is in their late 30s or early 40s. The child is focusing his attention on his handheld video gaming device, and as he walks into the kitchen to sit down, the young boy accidentally knocks over his cup onto the floor. As a reaction from the frustration of the drink spilling, the parent begins shouting and telling the boy that he needs to stay off his video game while he is in the kitchen. Many individuals would agree that the parent didn't have a justifiable reason to shout at the child like that, and so it would be the proper thing to apologize for how they responded to the problem. Meanwhile, there are other parents who don't believe they need to apologize to their child when they shout at them. This is usually due to the simple fact that they were never apologized to by their parents and were told that they're an adult and a child is supposed to listen to the adult at all times. This often leads to creating what society has referred to as a narcissist. Can you really create a narcissist by simply never apologizing to a young child at an early age? In some cases, no, but in many cases, when it comes to a child's development, when they're exposed to some form of negativity and the parent refuses to acknowledge the mistake they've created, it often leads to the child applying the same logic in his or her own personal life. Thinking back to when you were a child, I'm sure there were times you had done something wrong, such as interrupt a conversation, accidentally knocked something over that wasn't yours, or even said something to someone that hurt their feelings. I'm confident in the assumption that we had apologized in those events because most parents at an early age often took the time to teach us the importance of mannerisms. Because of these mannerisms instilled in children at a young age, it allows for us to reach out and connect with other individuals regardless of a circumstance. A quick example of this statement would be if you were in an office meeting and you accidentally spilled your coffee or someone else's coffee on the floor, an apology would be the most appropriate thing to do. When you apologize for making a mistake such as spilling coffee, most folks understand that accidents happen, and so therefore they usually let the problem go when a person apologizes. In the event that a person doesn't apologize, many times it causes conflict or issues among the individuals involved that could simply have been avoided had the person just apologized. How does the lack of apologizing actually create a narcissist? What I find happens in my personal experience is that when a person lacks the education and importance of apologizing, it often creates a form of entitlement. This entitlement can be as simple as not owning up to a mistake that a person has made all the way towards hurting another person's feelings and not feeling remorse. To put it in simple terms, usually a person that doesn't find apologizing important is usually someone who believes they are perfect and have done absolutely no wrong and that it's everybody else who is at fault. Unfortunately, there is no way to change how these individuals act, as this is how they've become since their childhood. You can spend countless hours, days, and weeks to convince someone to apologize for something they have done that was wrong. In the end, these individuals who lack the ability to apologize would never do it because in their minds they believe that they have not done anything wrong. How does this apply to the golden rule of treating others the way you would want to be treated? The answer to that question is actually very simple. If someone accidentally spills coffee on important papers, whether they be for work or school, you would like them to apologize for what they have done, right? So in the event you do something wrong to somebody, such as calling them a hurtful name out of anger that was created from an altercation, you would apologize because you would want somebody to do the same to you. In other words, you should apologize to someone you have done wrong to, regardless of how you feel, because it's not about what you say or how you try to make them feel, but how they feel in response to being done wrong. It's very depressing when I look at our society and the amount of individuals who will refuse to admit they are wrong and apologize. I understand that as human beings, we like to believe that the actions we are displaying are both physically and morally right. But in some cases, even if we have the right intentions, the results can be that our actions were wrong from another person's perspective. An example we will use for this is about a young boy and a young girl, who are about 10 years old. The girl will be feeling insecure about her weight as she had previous exposure to bullying by classmates. The boy will talk to her about the problem and tell her that if she goes on a diet, then she won't have to worry about being bullied about her weight. We understand that the boy is trying to help out with the problem she is having, though he meant no harm. In most cases, the person on the receiving end, in this instance the girl, she takes the statement as the boy agrees she is fat. When she informs him that being told to go on a diet is something that hurts her feelings, it should be expected that the boy would apologize for upsetting her. In most situations like this, the person who made the statement which hurt the other person's feelings would apologize even though they had no malicious intention of upsetting the person they were talking to. Unfortunately, there are many individuals who believe they hadn't done anything wrong, and so therefore they would rather sacrifice the friendship or relationship over the thought of apologizing. Due to the boy not believing he had done any harm with the statement that he made, the result of his actions will usually cause a reaction. The quote my father had always told me was, "With every action, there's a reaction." The reaction can vary to being something as little as a girl no longer wanting to be friends with the boy, all the way towards the girl committing suicide over the belief that everyone thinks she is fat and ugly. In most circumstances, things don't usually escalate at high levels that result in suicide, but in some cases they do. The sad thing about altercations such as the one given in the example is that they could have easily been avoided had the person simply apologized for hurting the girl's feelings. The question of who is at fault is now being asked. Do we blame the boy who refused to apologize for a statement he made that he didn't see any malicious intention with? Do we blame the bullies in the classroom that started to make the girl feel insecure about her weight from the comments being made? Do we blame the parents of the kid who didn't apologize for the fact of not being educated and the importance of an apology? The answer to this question is that it's impossible to place the blame on any single person. As a matter of fact, if we were to blame each part as listed above, we would have to include the young girl and her parents as part of the blame. Why would we place the girl and her parents as part of the blame for her suicide? Though it's important to apologize when you have upset someone or have done something wrong to them, another thing to take into consideration is that not everyone has the same morality when it comes to situations like this. The parents of the young girl may have educated her on the importance of an apology when you have done something wrong, though they may have lacked the educational aspect, and not everyone is going to apologize for their actions, especially when they don't believe they're in the wrong. Sure, the bully shouldn't have been bullying her in the first place, and the boy should have apologized for upsetting the girl as she was his friend, but the truth of the matter is that the girl should have been taught that not everyone is going to take another individual's feelings into consideration all the time. In response to the bullying that she had received along with the statement that her friend made that had upset her, though she had every right to be upset by the entire ordeal, she should have also understood that there are better ways to handle a situation opposed to the way that she had originally handled it. For instance, instead of going to the extreme, she could have simply parted ways with the boys until she had cooled off and discussed the way he made her feel, or she could have simply decided to end the friendship there. When would the situation occur that an apology isn't necessary to give? In many situations, we have the result in somebody being upset. Oftentimes we apologize. But should a person always be expected to apologize for something? Well, here's an example of a discussion between a man and a woman roughly around the same age. The man is explaining to the woman that he doesn't appreciate the way she acts towards him whenever he's around other people. He feels that she isn't a real friend because a real friend isn't going to act differently towards him in front of other people. As a response to the statement declared by the man, she informs him that he's offended her for making a statement about her like that, and she believes she is owed an apology. This would be a situation when an apology wouldn't be appropriate, because if an individual is upset by how another person is acting, they have every right to refuse an apology due to the simple fact that nobody has a right to tell someone how they are supposed to feel about something. Usually in an altercation such as the one stated, the woman would take the role of a narcissist who, again, doesn't believe they have done wrong by anyone and that anything negative directed at them is expected to be followed up with an apology. It's events that occur such as this one in which an apology would cause more harm than good. How can an apology cause more harm than good? If the man was to respond to the woman, "You're right. I apologize for making a statement about you and bringing it to your attention," then the result of making that statement would actually tell the woman that it is okay for her to continue the behavior that she displayed. In other words, when a person apologizes to another individual for bringing a problem they have committed to their attention, all the person is doing is giving them permission to keep performing the disrespectful behavior. This happens throughout many friendships and relationships where a person is expected to apologize for not accepting the disrespect they have been given. Characteristics of someone such as the lady who was expecting an apology for being called out on her actions is that of a narcissist. As you can all see, this all returns to the statement of treat people the way you want to be treated. If you expect someone to apologize for doing you wrong, well then you should apologize for when you do somebody else wrong. Regardless if you meant to hurt someone's feelings or not, if you genuinely care about the other person in the friendship or relationship, you'll swallow the pride you have of standing behind what you're saying and apologize. What it shows is that you care more about the other person and the relationship you have with them over the idea of admitting you were wrong about what you said. Even if in the event you're completely right and the other person is absolutely wrong, sometimes it's best to either drop the conversation with an apology than to continue the pointless conversation in the event that neither person is going to change their opinion. Influencing the idea of apologizing is important, especially when raising a child. Too many people nowadays often neglect even the thought of admitting they were wrong. This usually creates a cycle where the parent doesn't apologize to their children, and so the child picks up the lesson and passes it down to his or her child. The cycle continues until someone within the cycle is able to intelligently understand the importance of human decency. The idea behind the book is about human decency, in which we treat people how we would want to be treated, regardless of how someone treats you. It's often neglected, and honestly, most of these parents raising their children have yet to learn this. If somebody doesn't break the cycle within the mindset, then the world will continue its negative attitude, and this will result in us being divided more than what we already are. This can be easily avoided if we follow the basic rules of human decency. In almost every religion, the golden rule is there. It doesn't matter how it's translated. The fact of the matter is you wouldn't want somebody to upset you. So why would you want to upset someone else? The answer is simple. You wouldn't want someone to mistreat you. I will acknowledge the statement that a misunderstanding is a real thing and that oftentimes when having a misunderstanding, it leads into an altercation. Thus, being able to admit you are wrong, even when you believe you are right, and apologizing can make the difference in your world and even in someone else's. When you lay your head down and prepare for bed, reflect on how your day went. If you believe you have done somebody wrong or you upset someone, before going to bed, make it your objective to make things right. It doesn't matter if you call, visit, or even text this person. Small apology of admitting you were wrong and that you are sorry for upsetting them can make all the difference in the world. Either do this before bed or make it a priority when you wake up. Most times, more times than most, the other person will appreciate this act and it may influence them to return an apology to you. That's the second chapter. The importance of an apology, and an apology is so important. I know too many people that are so caught up in their own pride, whether they weren't taught it, whether they're just narcissistic, or whatever the reason, they don't apologize. And so it happens to the friendship or even the relationship. And this even happens in families between parents and children, or brothers and sisters, is because you don't apologize and admit you were wrong, it builds that tension. And slowly the friendship or bond or relationship slowly breaks apart. And I think that's the last thing we need right now. And so if you're going to take anything from this is, hey, sometimes even when you believe you're right, it's okay to apologize. If you did somebody wrong or somebody tells you that you've done them wrong, just apologize, because of the simple fact life is too short to stay so angry all the time. And if having too much pride and standing behind what you're saying means more to you than having a friend, well then you're not a true friend to that person. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this reading, I would like for you to leave a like. And if you want, you can put down in the comments below your favorite part about this or your own thoughts on this about knowing when to apologize. And if you want to message me directly, you can email me at mrlelandoakland@gmail.com. And if you're seeing this from Facebook, go ahead and shoot me a message. I am more than happy to talk to anybody about this. I don't know when the third chapter is going to come out. I'm going to try to get it done maybe tomorrow or maybe next week. So I'm going to try to get it done. But I try to keep it. I rather have less videos out and better quality opposed to a higher quantity of videos with lower quality. Again, I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and I hope everybody has a nice day. Everybody stay safe during this weekend, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.